All right, this is Blizzard's responses to the layering. Okay, repeat instances to be punished. Okay, yeah, this is it right here. Recently, the community have been aware of an exploit that allow players to find the last boss of a dungeon in any classic without having to clear any of the other mobs of the instance. Blizzard has announced that they will have a fix and are deploying it live with realm restarts later on. Blizzard has also announced they will be identifying those who abuse this exploit and issue punishments for those players. We've recently become aware of a bug that could be exploited to allow instance encounters to be completed repeatedly. We have developed a fix for this issue, and we are in the process of deploying it worldwide. Realm restarts are scheduled for 3 a.m. in order to apply this fix. As soon as possible, we will identify those who knowingly abuse this bug in an exploitative manner. We will take appropriate punitive measures, which means that they're going to fuck you in the ass. As a reminder, Blizzard's in-user license agreement 2 defines cheats as methods not expressly authorized by Blizzard, influencing and or facilitating the gameplay, including exploits of any in-game bugs, thereby granting you or any other user an advantage over other players not using such methods. As always, thank you, and thank you for your feedback on this matter. So here's basically what's going on, right? Fuck him, it was obvious as fuck. It was, right? Oh, punishing exploits is retarded. It's their job as game designers to not have exploits. No, it's not. So here's the thing, okay? Alright, so let me go ahead and I'll give you an example. Here's why it's not retarded. Here's why it's not retarded to punish for exploits. If somebody adds something into the game that turns out to completely change the game's economy, right? Let's say you have, like, maybe, like, I think the Robe of the Archmage is one of them, right? So, like, let's say it's, like, a rare pattern, right? It's, like, very hard to get. And you're able to add this into the game 500 times. You completely destroy the structure and, like, the economy of that item. So, is it okay for Blizzard to allow people to willingly do that whenever those people know that they won't have any repercussions? Because I can guarantee you, if Blizzard didn't ban people for exploiting dungeons, every single player in the game right now would have full bis. You see what I'm saying? Like, every single player would have full bis because they know that, okay, well, now I can just do it as soon as possible. So that's what would happen. Just don't use, just don't have exploits. Yeah, that's a three-head idea. Here's the thing, is that I look at it like this, is that in a lot of cases, it's very obvious if something is a bug or not, right? I'm sorry, but it is very obvious. It's like if you can respawn Baron Rivendare 10 times in a row, that is obviously a bug. And if you're using that to your advantage, you are clearly exploiting, okay? Like, I'm not talking about somebody who had Rivendare respawn once and was like, wait, come back, man, we got another one, that's awesome. And they just kill it again, right? But I'm talking about someone who said, wait, come back, man, we got another one. That's awesome, for the 25th time, right? It's obvious what they're doing. You see what I'm saying? It's obvious what they're doing. And I think that in that case, it's obviously something that they should get banned for. Exploit is a design problem. Oh, it is. It is obviously a design problem. But I do also think that Blizzard should ban people who are taking advantage of the exploits, though. I absolutely do. To an extent. Right? And I'm not saying any single person who's able to benefit from the exploit. I'm saying that people that expressly gained massive advantages because of said exploit. That's what I think that the problem is, It's like, so what should Blizzard do? I think that based off the amount of times that somebody exploited it, you know what Blizzard should do? Every time they exploited it over 5, they should add 1 month to the ban. So if you exploit it 6 times, that's a 1-month ban. If you exploit it 8 times, that's a 3-month ban. If you exploit it 20 times, you know what? I mean, that's a however many months that is banned, right? And that's what they should do, right? You exploit it, like, what would it be? Like, fucking, what's 12 plus 5? 17 times? You're going for a fucking year. I think that's what they should do, honestly. It seems like a much better idea than just kind of, letting this shit fester. And I definitely feel that way, man. I'm not a fan of that kind of exploiting shit at all. I really don't like exploiting, and obviously I will always do it. Everybody will always do it because it's good. But Blizzard needs to be, they need to be smart about making sure that people aren't able to exploit in a way that seems, unnatural to the game. And like, also exploiting in WoW is really bad because it's a multiplayer game. And so you don't want to have a multiplayer game have things like that diminish its credibility, you know what I mean? Confirmed. A new massive Classic WoW exploit has been found. Instance layering in Classic WoW generates massive amounts of gold.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Tibbs, and we're approaching 3 weeks now since Classic WoW launched. I hope these 3 weeks have been very, very exciting and fun for you, and I hope the launch has met all of your expectations and exceeded them if possible.
It did.
And yeah,
it's been
I
very
just wanted
fun
to check in with you guys on something that's pretty goddamn important. And excuse my French, guys, we got a lot to talk about in this video. It's very, very impactful, and it has deeply affected the Classic WoW economy, as well as how Classic WoW is played overall.
Yep.
So before I get into this video, I just wanted to say, guys, I've obviously been on a little bit of a YouTube hiatus.
I don't know if it's deeply affected the economy, right? I don't know about that. I think that, like, I think there are entire servers that didn't even know this existed. Yeah, I don't think that it will. No, it won't. Blizzard's gonna fix it.
I've been streaming Classic WoW every day at twitch.tv/tipsoutbaby, so the vast majority of my time has been going into my gameplay, just because I've been wanting to play the game and share it with you guys.
That's weird.
But hopefully we'll get back on YouTube now that the dust has settled a little bit, that I've pretty much finished my pre-raid best in slot. We've killed Ragnaros and Nixia and multiple raid groups and stuff like that.
There it is.
So I'm getting ready to settle down a little bit and talk to you guys about the game
down, have a kid,
and unveil some cool information that I've discovered while playing. So stay tuned for that for sure. But not all the information that I've come across and all the new things that I've discovered are positive. In such a case as this, it's very, very negative, and that is the instance layering exploit. I'm going to give it to you guys as straightforward as I can. There is a way to layer over inside instances to respawn bosses instantaneously, kill those bosses multiple times in a row without having to start back at the beginning of the instance when it's fully reset and clear all the way back through to the boss.
Wow.
Yeah. Think that's bad? You ready to hear this next one? This exploit can be done in raids, meaning that you could theoretically kill all the bosses in Molten Core all the way through to Ragnaros.
How do we know it can be done in raids? How do we know that it can be done in raids? Esfand? No. That's not what. No, that's not what happened with them. No, really, that's not what happened with him. Because raids have a different type of ID than dungeons do. So the way that raids work, for example, the way that raids work is that each time that you kill a boss, you are saved to a specific raid ID. Dungeons do not have dungeon IDs in the same way that raids have raid IDs. I feel like if they knew about this, right, the people that are exploiting this knew about this, why didn't they ever try and do this in raids? Why is there no evidence of anybody being able to show this in raids? Because Esfand was able to reproduce it once. That doesn't even mean it's the same bug. If he was able to reproduce it multiple times, then yeah, maybe it would be. But it seems like it's not.
Then leave Molten Core to go into BRS to get your fire resistance buff. Then head back into Molten Core within 20 minutes, and all of the bosses have respawned once again for you to kill all of them and receive all of their loot without having to wait for the raid lockout. You don't believe me? Well, it was done in front of 15,000 people on Esfand's stream last Sunday. Now, obviously, Esfand had no idea what was going on, nor did his guild have any idea what's going on. Yeah. But it's something that happened live on his stream. And if I can find the VOD, I'll hopefully post that for you guys here in the video as well. But essentially what happened was Esfand's guild was raiding Molten Core. And as I just explained it, they got to Ragnaros, and to make Ragnaros easier, one of the things a lot of guilds do is they leave the instance, they go into Blackrock Spire, they mind control a Scarshield Spellbinder to give them an 81 fire resistance buff on each of their players. Then they head back into Molten Core to kill Ragnaros with this newly equipped buff. When the
Did you do that? The clever use of game mechanics thing?
No, this is wrong. Like that's not what happened at all.
Well, then what
like
happened?
It's literally like No, we went and did the raid the first night, and then we didn't finish. And then we went back the second night, and whenever we showed up, we were going to Rag, and then Gehenna had spawned.
So what you're saying is that you did. It's not like so the reset happened
It's
overnight.
literally, yeah, it's literally something entirely different. It's an old vanilla bug that happened.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's like it's not even the same thing.
Let me go.
Like like people are just like retarded, and they're trying to figure out something to like, I don't know, like latch onto. But like,
Well, the raid
Blizzard-
IDs is different, and I think that
well,
there was nobody.
It's a different bug.
There was nobody who was able to reproduce this bug in a raid, because
Yeah,
don't
as
you
far as I
think
know.
that every single other guild out there would have tried to reproduce your bug as soon as they saw it happen, and they put two and two together,
Yeah, I mean, like it's
and nobody
like,
did
it's-
this.
No, like as far as I know, like
So
I didn't even know about the bug till today. But I know that the thing that happened to us was a different thing entirely. That it hadn't our thing had nothing to do with layers. Ours is an old vanilla bug. It would happen on private servers too, because the private servers are basically
I
try to
wish it
copy,
happened
like,
to our group, dude. Holy shit!
well,
Like
I mean,
that would
like,
have been
hey,
great.
like it is what it is, dude. But like
Yeah.
the thing is we like the thing happened, and then we were like, okay, hold on, we need to talk to Blizzard because we got to find out what's going on. Blizzard says, hey, I mean, you guys aren't gonna get punished for the game screwing up, right? You guys didn't do anything to make the game screw up. The game screwed up on its own. We're not gonna punish you for that. You guys go ahead and re-clear so you guys can do your run this week. It's like, okay, great. I mean, this is a non-issue. Like this whole thing is all fake. Like it's all entirely fake. Like this isn't what happened to us at all.
So
But it's just kind of like people are just drawing conclusions to kind of like, I don't know, make it a thing.
yeah. So basically, like here's the way that I look at it. Right, is that raid IDs and dungeon IDs are different. And raid IDs are very, very specific things, and
Yes.
dungeon IDs are not. So you can do a dungeon multiple times, you cannot do a raid multiple times. So the raid ID is saved to your character regardless. So even if you go into a new raid, I don't see how that would make the bosses respawn at all. Now, if they're in separate layers, that's one thing. But like just using logic, here's the conclusion that I draw. So you go into the raid, you were able to re-kill the bosses. Every single competitor.
The ones that we had already killed, yeah.
Yeah, you were able to re-kill the bosses. Every single guild that was doing MC probably saw that or heard of that and checked their ID and
Oh, I
tried to
know
zone
they
in
did.
again. Every single
Yes.
guild. We did.
I
I
had
sat through a
multiple-
2-hour queue. Whenever I watch you guys do it, I sat through a 2-hour queue Monday night. I was prepared to stay up until 3 a.m. to re-clear MC again because I saw you guys doing it. I zoned in. It didn't happen. So the way that I'm looking at it, right, is that every single guild saw you guys do this.
Right.
And at the
mean, the
same
bot- the
time,
bot is there,
at the same time, people knew about this instance layering exploit by the definition of what these people are saying.
Apparently.
So if they knew about the instance layering exploit and they knew about you exploiting the raids, why were the raids never exploited?
Right. Exactly what I've been saying.
Logically, that doesn't make sense.
I don't think it's something you can do because its raid IDs are different. If you watch the video, whenever they do the layer hopping in a dungeon, they leave the group and then it has the 1 minute timer until it kicks you out and then it hops them. Right? Because it says you are not in this instance's raid ID, you're going to get removed. Right? Raids don't do that because they lock you to the raid ID. It works entirely different.
Well, is there anybody who, well, before we go any further in the video, right? Is there any before we go any further in the video? It's all vanilla, bud. We just decided to exploit it anyway. Well, it's okay. Do you have a word to port it? Well, of course. Yeah, I mean, so if they allowed it, then there it is. So if it's lying, saying 100% what Esfand did. Well, what Tips is saying about the going into MC the fire guy, that's not true, because it was on 2 separate days. But is there anybody who's able to refute the logical assumption that I'm coming to, that because the raid reset was available and the knowledge of it was available to everyone, and also the instance layering exploit was available to everyone, why were there no other people exploiting the raids?
Right.
Can anybody explain that? If you can explain that, then I'll go back on it. Can anybody explain that? Okay. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, there we go. Because not everyone likes to fucking cheat. By the nature of these people knowing about this exploit and using the exploit, by definition, they like to cheat because they're cheating. How do you know that nobody did? Because there is no evidence that's come forward at all. And yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. That is good. That is a counter argument. There is a possibility that this did not happen, it did happen, and we just don't know about it. But I think that with the amount of people that are showing the things that they've gotten out of it, and nobody's even shown this in a raid at all, it seems unlikely.
You can tell. Here's the thing. You can tell whenever people do this in raids because the amount of gear that's there. It's pretty easy to tell. It's not as easy to tell whenever you do it in dungeons because they could just vendor all the gear.
Yeah.
And then they could just have the gold sitting in their bags.
There's no fucking way some guilds didn't exploit the shit out of this. Well, no, because there is one way. The way is that the raid IDs function differently than dungeon IDs, and it would make it impossible to do. So I don't think that's really the case. I don't know, but that's just what makes sense to me. So here's all I'm saying. I think that if this was what Esfand did, this is the bug that Esfand had, then they would have had a lot more people exploiting this, right? Why are there not guilds that have 3 sulfuruses in them right now? Why is that not a thing? It's because obviously maybe those people don't want to be known, but these people obviously didn't care about being known because they made over 100,000 gold. That's going to be obvious. That's going to show up on Blizzard's radar too, just as much as 3 legendaries would. So it's hard really to make that comparison. The reason why bosses reset and are clear is the same thing. It just wasn't known. I don't think so. I think the raid ID is really, that's really kind of the layer of complication here.
You know, I was like literally told it's a vanilla bug. Like it's just that's like literally like that's how it works.
Okay.
Like it's happened. Like it's happened on private servers. Like it happened back in vanilla. Like it isn't like a new thing, but like people are trying to turn it into something else.
Okay, let's go ahead.
And I don't know how to recreate it. Like it just happened.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Group reformed in this situation. A person that was not inside the raid, that had not received the lockout, invited everyone. And as a result, everyone got layered over, which means that the instance itself was layered, which means when the entire raid group zoned back into Molten Core, it was like a fresh new layer, a brand new layer of mobs. Now, obviously, we've seen layering being abused out in the world. It's pretty much been accepted now. It's just part of the game. It's the unfortunate consequence of Blizzard using the layering mechanic in Classic to accommodate server load. But we haven't really seen it being used in dungeons before, at least not widely spread. And the instance that happened on Crusade stream, on Esfand stream, was probably the first time we saw this broadcasted. At least the first time I saw it broadcasted. And at the time, this was last Sunday, nobody had any idea what was going on, how the instance reset. It was just considered a bug. And Esfand asked Blizzard GMs, before he cleared the instance, he asked Blizzard GMs in his chat, can I re-clear this instance? And they gave him the A-OK, which subsequently, I think, spawned an entire investigation by a lot of players to find out how Crusade reset Molten Core within a single run. And how they could replicate it to their advantage.
That's the first thing, dude. I remember me and Rich, like, we were talking, like, okay, maybe if you go in and I log out and then you log in and then maybe the boss is going to be up. Okay, maybe if I go in, you log out, maybe we both log out, and then we come back in, boss is in. Maybe we get somebody else that's not saved to come in, and then we log out, and then we go into their instance, then maybe we can get in. No, Cheating Andy? Bro. Like, hey, yo, I mean, look up Asmongold exploit guide. Well, I've been doing this for the better part of a decade, man. Like I used to be on Owned Core, all those other fucking exploit websites all day, every day, dude. Like we used to be cheating like crazy. Like the way I look at it is that I balance, like, if I don't think something's gonna get me banned, I do it. Now this redoing MC once, I would be like, okay, we do it. But if we were able to reset it like 10 times, I would be like, nah, there's no way. Like we're gonna get the shit. I would assume that they'd just take our shit away, so we'd just be wasting our time. Maybe we'd get to keep the rep, but probably not.
And people found out about it. It's called, I guess, the instance layering exploit. Essentially, the steps to reproduce it are as follows, and I give credit to Mana5Cans who wrote this post. Step 1, you clear a dungeon. Step 2, you leave your group. Step 3, you get invited by somebody on a new layer to a group again. Step 4, your layer swaps. Step 5, the dungeon respawns as you are in it, as you're switching layers within the dungeon. Step 6, re-invite everyone else that was in your group. Step 7, kill the final boss over and over again if that's the boss you're after.
Step 8, loot.
It works, guys. It works because I freaking tested it. And I was very curious, is this going to work? Is this not going to work? It works. It's very, very scary. And apparently, people have been doing this in droves over the past several weeks, to the point where some people have farmed hundreds of thousands of gold by farming True Faith Vestments patterns, by
Do you guys really think... I don't know about the 100,000s of gold. Like, I think maybe they've only farmed hundreds of thousands of gold if they're including the projected value of their sales. Because I don't believe that the amount of people that are going to be able to buy True Faith Vestments is going to be that much for them to be able to make that amount of money in that short of a period of time. I don't believe it, because the demand and the amount of money in the economy and the amount of priests that are available that are able to buy that item, it just does not make sense for it to go all the way up to 100,000 gold. So if you're selling one of them for like 200 or 500 gold, right? How many priests would you need to sell this to in order for it to actually be worth it? Like, what price point would you have to do? How many items would you have to do? It doesn't even make sense. Vendors are unlimited though. They're not vendoring the True Faith Vestments. They're basically saying they're selling them. It doesn't make any sense. 50 go, 1 week rollback. No, it's not. It's fake news. I think they made a lot of money, but I don't think that it was, I don't think it was that much. Yeah, I don't think it was 100,000 gold. That seems ridiculous. Maybe they made 100,000 gold collectively. I doubt that one individual player made 100,000 gold. Maybe the guild did collectively or something like that.
Farming Crusader enchant patterns.
100,000
by farming, you know, Flask of the Titans recipes off of Drac.
Yeah.
People have been abusing this day and night, and we wonder why the auction house prices are so low. It's because people have access to so many items right now. Free action potions are going for 15 silver on Ferlina. 15 silver. That's insane.
What is again?
On Ferlina. Oh, it's because people have access to so many items right now. Free action potions are going for 15 silver on Ferlina.
Fuck, man, they're expensive now. I'm buying all of them, dude. 38 gold, dude. 38 fucking gold. Ridiculous. Hopefully they'll go back down in price. Why? Because now I have them.
15 silver.
Dude, I keep getting items not found. They're all gone. I tried to buy them too.
Dude, Devil Source sets, okay, that's world stuff, so that's a different thing. But we got Robe of the Archmage patterns going for like 20, like not 20, but really, really low amount.
Let me see.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And I hope you can sense my concern here. Obviously, this is a big deal, and this is an exploit 100%. It is not permitted, I think, by Blizzard.
So, you've got, like, all right, let's see about these here. Got all these people. There's a few of them, right? I mean, it's like 150 gold. I mean, is this more than how much it was before? I see. I don't remember. Like, I mean, it's like prices from like 10 years ago. Like, I don't remember like what they were. So, this is fine. Yeah, I feel like this isn't really that high, or sorry, really that low. I mean, it was 100 gold yesterday. Yeah, this seems kind of normal. And also, I mean, like, obviously they could be selling them under different names, but all of these items are being sold by different people. So it's not like one guy is exploiting the shit out of this and then flooding the market with them. Free action potions were 38 silver. Yeah, dude, the fucking price went up, man. Tips blew our fucking cover.
Blizzard at all, and I will fully admit, I tested it a couple of times. I tested it in different situations. All of these occurred just a few hours ago, just to see if it worked and how it worked, so I could get a better understanding of how it worked. I personally did not benefit off of any of it. I did not get any extra loot
Shame.
or anything like that.
True shame.
But obviously, a game-breaking bug of this magnitude, you want to understand how it works, especially because we haven't received a response from Blizzard yet, and that's what's really,
we've
really
gotten one
scary.
now, which is good.
What is Blizzard going to do about this? Are they going to ban everyone that's done this? Here's the problem with that. People have been doing this whether or not they realize it. And let me explain why. For those of you that are watching this video right now, I can almost guarantee you that at some point during your leveling, while you were in dungeons, you saw mobs suddenly respawn in the dungeon.
I
This
don't think
happened to me
we've ever
like
had
4 or
that happen.
5 times while I was leveling.
Actually, I don't think
and
I've
I
ever
had
had that
no
happen.
idea
No.
what was going on. That's the bug. We were accidentally triggering this layering exploit in dungeons without even realizing it because we were constantly adding new people to groups, removing people.
Has that happened to you guys? Because to me, I don't remember that ever happening. That was never a thing. I don't know. Tavello, fucking 25 months. Thank you so much, man, Tavello. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like nobody ever left my groups, right? I mean, I guess it's like streamer privilege or whatever, right? But still, I mean, fuck. Give me a second. Think about the key ring. Logically, it seems they should be able to add it, right? But at code level, it's very difficult as stated by the devs. Players don't understand what the way the game systems are coded. Often not at all how they seem. I think that you're right, a developer. I think you're very right. And that's why I don't think it's a good idea to automatically assume that the raid instance bug is the same as the dungeon instance bug. And especially because it seems like people aren't able to recreate it as easily.
To groups, swapping groups and stuff like that while we were dungeon grinding. This happened to so many people accidentally, and people have benefited off of it without realizing that it's an exploit. They thought it was just a bug, whatever. Oh, I'm in Maradon, I just killed Princess Theradress, I reformed my group, and what? Princess Theradress is back up? That's weird. Yeah, sure, I'll kill her. I'm not going to go back to the start of the dungeon. She's right there in front of me. And people have been doing that for weeks since Classic launch, not realizing that it was a crazy exploit.
Max.
So the question is, how can you ban people for doing something that
I'm gonna be honest. If Princess respawned in front of me, boom, dead. Kill her again. Kill her 100%. 100% I'd have done it, and you would too. Everybody would have done it. Why, we'd have got her ass, dude. We'd have got that Blackstone ring. Whoo! There it is. It would have been that easy. Horde prices might be different. Oh, yeah, I see that now. Yeah, so of course I'd have done it. Of course I'd have fucking done it. I bet half the people in the chat would have done it. And I bet the other half of the people would have done it twice. Okay? Like, they'd have tried to do it again. Everybody would have done it. It's like, can you imagine somebody who's like, oh, respawn, no, let's go all the way back to the beginning and we're gonna do it again. This isn't fair, and we should never do this. Blizzard, it's not the way the game is supposed to work, and so let's go all the way back over the beginning, and we'll have to do it again because this is unethical, and we shouldn't be able to kill the boss as many times. Can you ever imagine that? No, of course not.
probably hundreds of thousands of players have done completely unknowingly. That is the big fear, and that is why it's just very, very questionable. Do you ban people for
ban
doing this?
everyone?
And I'll tell you my thoughts on it at the very end of the video.
Okay.
The second part of this is, okay,
So
maybe you don't ban people. What if you delete everyone's gear that benefited from this? That's probably a better idea, in my opinion.
Like they're ever going to be able to do
you
that?
probably have to target specific accounts.
There's no way they
the
can
ones
do that.
Really exploited it.
There's no way.
Ban those accounts, honestly. But again, you know,
no
how
way.
do you distinguish somebody who accidentally came across this abuse and somebody who did it intentionally, fully conscious, knowing that this was in fact an exploit?
It's easy. If they did it twice, they probably did it on accident. If they did it 50 times, they're exploiting. Just every single person that's done it more than 5 times, just look at their chat logs. See, okay, this person is saying that let's try and do this again, exploit this again. See if they're doing it with the intent of exploiting, and if they are, just ban them. I mean, just ban them. Like, that is 4 okay? I don't know. It depends.
How do you distinguish those two people? And I feel like the only way you can do that is by setting some kind of threshold to say, okay, if somebody killed, you know, bosses, you know, let's say if you killed the same boss 10 times in an hour, clearly that was intentional, clearly that was exploitative. This is someone that should be punished, either have their loot deleted or banned. But if it's somebody that did this maybe 5 or 6 times over the course of the past 3 weeks, not realizing it, then someone like that should probably get a pass because they had no idea. Clearly, they had no idea what was happening.
That's just what makes sense. Yeah, that's what makes sense.
I did personally think that when Esfand's guild did it during Molten Core, I did feel a little bit... I mean, I was upset that another guild on our server, especially an opposite faction guild, was able to get a free lockout's worth of loot and no one else was. I thought that was a little bit unfair. I did think that their loot should have been deleted up until Ragnaros.
Say what?
Jealousy?
I was jealous.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
I was mad, dude. I saw you guys and you guys got that buy. I was like, what the fuck, dude? Where's my loot? I was mad. But like the thing is that like you guys didn't kill Rag.
No.
So the instance, like, basically,
the
this
only reason
bug.
we were back in there is because we didn't clear the whole thing.
Yeah, it's like it's one thing if you cleared the whole fucking thing and then you go back, you do it again. But like, what are you gonna say? Oh, now they're not allowed to kill Rag again? They're not allowed to kill Rag this week because the bosses respawned because of some bug that they're unaware of? Oh, well, you can't kill Rag. Give me a fucking break, dude. Of course they can. Loot should be taken. They probably should have done that, but like they didn't. And Esfand, you knew that could have happened. You knew they could have taken the loot.
Right.
Yeah.
But they were allowed to keep
I don't know.
it.
We got 2 pairs of Giant Stalker's boots now, so we're kind of overpowered.
Must be nice.
Blizzard did allow Esfand's guild to keep the loot, despite the fact that they got an extra free lockouts worth of loot. And I'm guessing, you know, for whatever reason that was, it is what it is. I don't mind it now that it's happened. But I feel like whatever the punishment is for anyone else that's abused this bug, it has to be consistent across the board. It cannot be, yeah, we'll let this guy because he's this guy. Okay, this is fine. But no, that's not fine. It's got to be somewhat consistent. Which brings me to my conclusion, I guess, of the video. How should Blizzard respond to this layering exploit? Well, number one, I don't think they should respond very quickly. I think they should really take their time and think about this one because this is something that people are abusing right now. Right now, as I sit in this queue right now, people are abusing this left, right, and center.
I think they need to do it as quick as possible. I'm actually going to disagree with Tips on this because here's why. Is that the longer it takes, the more these items will disperse themselves into the economy and the harder it will be for Blizzard to isolate and figure out who was actually doing these and who unfairly benefited and who didn't. So I think that it would be the best idea already fixed. Well, no, it's not just the fixes, right? I agree with the fix. Yes, obviously they want to fix it immediately. But what I mean in terms is the punishments. Because every single moment that we spend doing this, right, you're going to have people that are going to buy auctions of their friends and then give their friends the gold, preemptively expecting themselves to be banned, right? It's like these people that are exploiters and you know, like these like fucking crazy people, right? They have like 1,000 different ways for them to disperse the gold and everything like that. So I think that's absolutely something that's going to happen a lot. And I hope, obviously, Blizzard knows what the fuck they're doing because they need to make sure they can stop this as soon as possible and make sure to isolate the problem as quickly as they can before the items that these people have obtained spread throughout the economy too much and they affect it as much as possible. It's like remember where Strathlom, you know, Arthas needs to purge the city? Like, that's what they need to do. They need to purge the exploiters.
This post went viral yesterday. Not this specific one, but there was another one that went viral yesterday. This is happening all over the place. People saw it on Esfand stream. People saw it everywhere. You've got people farming, you know, Baron Rivendare's mount, just killing Baron Rivendare over and over and over again at the end of an instance. A boss
still
that takes
not
like an hour and a half to get to.
Yeah.
People are killing him within 5-10 minutes.
Yep, still not going to get it.
People are doing this for everything. It's insane. Some people are doing it for Molten Core. Some people have killed Molten Core 5 times this week on the same account, on the same character.
I want to see proof of that. I do. I want to see proof of that. I want to see screenshots and evidence of that. I don't believe it. I don't. Because it's like I want to see proof of that. He wants to do it himself. Listen, dude, if we had known this would have happened, if we knew this, we would have killed the binding bosses. This is what I would have done. I would have killed the binding bosses. I would have forced the bug to happen and then been like, oh, wow, whoa, what's this? The bosses respawned. Oh, no, Blizzard, is there a way for... I mean, come on, Blizzard. You know, we didn't try to do this, so we might as well come out. And then so after we kill the binding bosses again, we're like, okay, guys, now let's zone out and repair. So we zone out and repair, switched again. Fuck up. Oh, it happened again? God, Blizzard really needs to get this game under control. They have no idea what they're doing at all. Blizzard, are we going to be able to kill this bot? Can you guys please get your shit together? And like, yeah, this is the first fucking thing I would have done, okay? Like, trust me, like, we would have exploited the shit out of this. I would have done it maybe twice. Not any more than that, though. Yeah, that's exactly what I've done.
It's insane. It's insane. Yeah, it's getting really, really bad right now. I think Blizzard should respond tomorrow, but I think they should really think about how they're going to approach it. That's step one.
Yep.
Step two, personally, here's what I would do. I would look at anybody that intentionally abused this for raid lockouts, and to be honest, I would probably ban them.
Yep.
If you're getting double, triple, quadruple loot in a week, you know exactly what you're doing. You know the game was not intended to be played that way. You're really screwing over a lot of people on your server, on your faction, on the opposing faction, by generating a massive advantage over them, and essentially cheating. So if you did this in raids, you should probably be banned for that.
Yes.
The duration of the ban, I'm personally not really for permabans. I don't like the idea of permabans in many cases. But,
2-year ban.
At least like
2 year.
Significant ban.
6 months.
You're screwing
minimum.
over a lot of people with that. Now, if you only did it once because you had no idea how it happened, I think you should get a pass from a ban perspective.
Yeah.
But I think your loot that you got in the raid should be deleted.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody should be able to have a week's worth of loot advantage over everyone else on their server, even if it was by accident. That loot should be deleted. There's no reason why a guild should have access to an extra Bone Reaver's Edge, which can be really huge in a PvP situation. Like, just because they accidentally came across it. It's unfortunate that that happened, but they...
I think at Blizzard, like, honestly, what they should have done, right, is, like, for the raid lockouts, I don't know about, like, deleting the raid gear. I don't know. I mean, like, I'm kind, as I said, remember whenever this happened, I thought, I talked about this. I'm like, in a way they should, and in a way they shouldn't. Because it's like, so you're going to make them re-clear all these bosses over and over and spend a ton of money on consumables and hours of their time, and then they just don't get any of the items out of any of the bosses because of a Blizzard bug. Is that fair to them? But is it fair to the rest of the community to not have the ability to do that? And so the problem really is the fact that there was a fucking bug. This is why they have betas. This is why they should have invited more people to the beta, is because this would have been tested and they would have figured it out. Like, this is the whole thing, because it's not fair for anybody. There's nothing that Blizzard can do that will be fair. There's nothing that they can do. And it's stupid as fuck, but that's the reality. They have no fucking way to do it, all right? Chill. I'm sorry, guys, but I said every fucking step of the way they needed to invite more people into the beta, and they didn't do it, and this is what we fucking get.
Should not be able to have 2 weeks worth of lockouts. Every boss they killed more than once, the second version of that boss's loot should be deleted, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to the dungeon exploiters, this is a little bit of a different scenario because, again, this happened to me while leveling numerous times on stream. Had no idea what was going on, went along with it. Millions of people, probably hundreds of thousands of people encountered the same thing while they were leveling. And it just happened. And nobody had any idea what was going on. We just assumed it was some kind of instance bug, whatever. I don't think punishing people that came across this accidentally in dungeons should really happen, because it happened to so many people. And you can actually read this thread. They talk about it here. But the people that did it egregiously, that farmed a boss, 10, 15, 20 times in an hour, or maybe even less than that, the people that have been doing it for weeks, those people should either A, have all of their loot and gold removed, or B, have their accounts probably banned temporarily. That is my guess. Because again, even if it's instance loot, it still is generating a massive advantage over other people if you exploit this 10, 20...
I don't give a fuck about the character's gear. I don't care about that. That doesn't matter to me. It's not about them getting best in slot gear. That is a secondary problem. That is something that only I'll explain why, okay? Just let me get into this, right? That is something that affects their character, exclusively their character, right? Maybe they PvP somebody, they might beat them because they have better gear, but for the most part, it's not going to make a big difference. The real problem is the economy. The economy is the problem. I don't care about some random guy. Oh, wow. Now he has the epic sword from Baron Rivendare. It's not a big deal. But the economy, that matters a lot. Look at the retail economy nowadays. You can't. Because there isn't one. It's gone. It's done. Besides transmog greens and random island expedition transmog items, nobody gives a fuck, man. And yeah, that's the point that I'm making, okay? The economy is electrolyzed to give a plant's grave. No, that's plants, dude. Roll back to servers and relaunch. So do you think they should punish every single player? Here's the thing, right? Is that any solution is going to make most people mad, right? And it's fair for a small group of people. No, they're not going to do that. Like, imagine somebody who has the weekend off and they finally got a weekend to play the game, and then because some sweaty nerd decided to exploit some bullshit, this dude's hard work that he spent 14 hours over the weekend, farming, it all goes away. Is that person going to be happy? No, of course not. Is it fair for everybody else? No, it's not. I think rolling back characters is a terrible idea, and they shouldn't do it. What happens whenever somebody does Molten Core over the weekend and they get the Eye of Ragnaros or the Bindings of Thunder Fury, and then they roll back the fucking instance and they go re-clear it and they don't get the Bindings of the Eye of Sulfuras again? That person's gonna be furious, dude. I mean, they're gonna be fucking furious. No, they're not gonna. They should not roll back the servers. If they can roll back their characters, yeah, great. But they should not roll back the entire servers. I don't even think they can do that.
30 times, especially if you're using this to farm epic rare patterns, which people have been doing.
Yeah.
So if you've been really exploiting it, that's probably punishable as well. Man, you can tell I'm really fretting over this. You know what I'm saying? This is a big deal, dude. This is a big freaking deal. People, dude, I'm wondering. I'm like sitting there like, dude, look at these patterns, dude. They're going for like a tenth of the price they went for on private servers. How does that make any sense? This doesn't make any sense. How is this happening? Why am I seeing a billion versions of these BOE items on the auction?
Well, here's why it's so cheap, right? Is that private servers in a lot of ways are more top heavy than classic WoW, because private servers are mostly comprised of people who are more just like by the nature of them actively seeking out vanilla WoW private servers rather than just playing what Blizzard gives them. Those people will naturally trend more towards the end game, and because they're trending more towards the end game, that means that they're going to have more competition for those items. So whenever you have no proof of that, Asmon, well, I don't need proof. It's logic.
It's simple supply and demand. Like, it's like literally the principles of supply and demand. There's more people on the server. There's a certain amount of people that are max level that are going to want certain things, right? Like the demand is lower than the supply. Like the prices are going to go down.
Well, here's what I'm saying, right? Not everything's that cut and dry. So, okay. Let me think about it like this. Okay, let me just propose something to you guys. Take a random sample of 1,000 people from Classic WoW and 1,000 people from private servers. How many do you think there would be more people from that private server random sample of 1,000 people that would be interested in doing endgame than Classic WoW? Yes, obviously yes. So if there are more people that are interested in doing in-game, that implies that there's going to be more competition for those rare patterns and rare items. And also, because there's not more people down at the bottom, that's less gold being injected into the economy by farming and vendoring different items. That's how a lot of gold gets added into the economy. So because you don't have such a large population, you're going to have a lot more gold added into the economy and spread out across a lot more people. So this is just the way that the economics of this work. Because there are more people on private servers that are interested in buying these patterns comparatively, there are going to be more people and higher prices that they're going to get out of them. That's just what makes sense. It's price and demand.
now. Is it because a lot of people are playing? That's what I chalked it up to. But then again, a lot of people played on Nostalria's too. A lot of people played on some of these private servers too. 15, 20,000 people concurrent. And that's mostly how many people are playing on the big pop servers right now in Classic. So how is this, you know... I'm shocked, in case you guys couldn't tell. I am...
They're appealing to different audiences. I mean, private servers, by the nature of them being private servers and by the amount of things you have to do to get them and download them and everything like that, it takes more work than just clicking the button on the Blizzard launcher, right? So they're going to just naturally attract a more hardcore audience, which is why the patterns for items that are needed for hardcore players are going to be higher. It's just what makes sense. It's good face there, yeah.
Shocked right now. But yeah, guys, my advice to everybody here that just watched this video: do not abuse this exploit.
Yep.
Do not go out of your way to try it. Part of me thought about trying it for this video and getting footage of it. I wasn't able to capture footage of it, but yeah, it works. Okay, just don't do it. Don't compromise your account.
Yep.
Yeah. Goddamn layering, dude! It's the layering! Nah, it's, yeah, it sucks that this happened. It really sucks that this happened. Again, an unfortunate consequence of layering that I don't think anybody could have predicted. But yeah, it is what it is. Just wanted to inform you guys about it, guys. In case you guys were doing it unaware, don't do it. Just wanted you guys to be aware of it. Maybe explain some of the reason why some things on your auction house are really expensive. And yeah, let's not pull out the pitchforks, guys. Things happen, you know, you miss things while you're in games development, so I don't really blame Blizzard here.
Everyone predicted this. No one predicted that you'd be able to use this bug. Nobody predicted that you'd have instances that were active inside layering. I've been paying attention to this for the entire time. I read the Classic WoW subreddit every day. Nobody ever brought this up.
But I'm very interested to see how they're going to react to this. So, thank you for watching this video, guys. Again, this is not exactly how I wanted to return to you guys here on YouTube. But I had to make this video right away, and now that the dust has settled, we will continue making Classic WoW videos here in the very near future. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you'd like to...
Let me say, what?
Something else that people keep forgetting is, again, our bug had nothing to do with this layer hopping bug.
Let me finish the video. It's almost over, and then I want to get a UBRS run real quick. And then we can get back to talking about it.
To keep up with my Classic WoW adventures, you can do so at twitch.tv/tipsoutbaby. I'll leave the link in the description below. I'll be back streaming tomorrow. It'll be a good time. We have a lot of fun on stream, guys. We do some world PvP. We kill some alliance. We have some fun. Get some nice loot. Got Savage Gladiator chain yesterday, by the way, which was fuck. But yeah. Anyways, guys, I will see you in the next one.
Have that
Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And as always, tips out, baby.
Okay.
Take care.
All right. Everybody's got that fucking item except me, dude. All right.